Good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this January 9th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. You can find all of our content at eoa.network. Takes you to a link tree where you can find where all of our content is available, our Facebook and YouTube and Roku and website, and then also where you can find us on Spotify.
Yep.
So be sure and check that out. Here in a little bit, we're going to have Dana Londin, manager of Union County Buffalo Peak Golf Course, with us here.
Yeah. Good morning.
Hey, how are you, man?
So barely. Oh, I was today.
Were you?
Yeah, it was one of those days. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you mean. Like you were on it, or you like?
No, I was off it today.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I've been off it all day today. Just not. I'm catching up, like slowly, but. You know, it's like I had a little bit of a headache, so I was sitting there and I closed my eyes, and then I dozed off. And I wake up and Benny's walking through the door. And usually by the time Benny's here, I'm like kind of coasting into third base. You know what I mean? Like, and here I am just putting down the bunt trying to get to first.
No, I was considerably late too this morning, later than normal, but. Hey.
Days like that. What is today?
Yeah.
Friday? It must be Friday. It is first Friday.
Yeah. Well.
That explains a lot right there.
And Dana's a friend, and so he's.
The front wasn't even unlocked for him. He calls. He's like, "Did you guys move?"
I was wondering. I went up. You must have been in. I went out and turned on the lights and stuff. But
yeah, I just
you
go,
were
Benny, go
here.
unlock the front real fast. Like, Dana's out there. If you come to the front door, like, and nothing's on, it looks like there's nobody in this building at all. Like,
well, and it's confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It says packages go here, there, we're closed, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've ever actually walked up to the door. But I've just seen it because we don't have keys to get in the front, so I've never had a reason to walk up to that door when we were closed.
Yeah.
But I've seen it from a ways away, you know, and it looks like everything's closed in here.
Yep, it does, especially when all the lights are off.
We're not closed.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Nope, we're here.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting city council meeting last night.
Yeah, I know. I watched it. I mean, it was interesting. I don't know enough about it to really comment on it like on a public level, but it looks like the thing that I can say is at least we're engaging in practical, safe conversations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was all about an annexation that's happening, and I won't get into details of it, but both sides were fairly, you know, like respectful. There was a little bit of, you know, like you can tell there's some animosity from some people, but the way it worked itself through was impressive. I liked it. I liked the way our city council operates. And then Nicole Howard stepped down. Well, didn't step down. She was done with her 8-year term. Well, her
term. Yeah.
Term.
Yeah.
And Ricky Joe Hickey took over. They put the picture up last night. They do all that right on the. They're like, get out. They take your picture down and then they put the new picture up and put the new that same night. Like it's not like a job where it might marinate through the weekend. No, you're out. Your picture's coming down.
Yeah.
The new picture's going up, and the heck with you.
Well, and from what happens is that they completed the business, all of that annexation, which went down. It was defeated, which was, I mean, I always felt good about that because. That it felt like the city council listened to the people that were presenting and were affected.
I just didn't like that there wasn't anybody from the other side there.
Well, yeah, but
that's supposed to be the city manager, and he kind of got
Mike
Boquist. That's supposed to be him representing the people of the city.
Yeah. Well, so
it was really one-sided argument last night.
Well, it was,
really.
but anything like that. Takes two different times. So it takes two different. They talk about it at one meeting, and then the second meeting they talk about it again. And if it passes or it's defeated, then it happens a second time.
Yeah.
So he had, in the initial presentation, he had spent quite a bit of time talking about it, and I thought at the end of the day, Boquist takes a lot of heat because that's his job.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just doing his job. But
And they said that. Yep.
but it was really good that they kind of said, hey, we asked him to do this, and it's not always fair that we ask him to do things. So the city council, and Nicole Howard did a very good job. I have always appreciated. She's just a real thinker, and the way she expresses herself. And
go ahead.
Anyhow, and her thought is like, hey, we asked Mike to do this,
Yeah.
and then the city council asked him to do it, and then they turned around and did not pass it.
I think that kind of stuff should be voted on by the people, because by the people that are paying taxes, because it's a tax issue when it comes down to it, and I think that they didn't do a good job of representing the people that are paying taxes for those roads that these people are using that aren't represented there.
Yeah, there was
just to make it fair. Like, if you put that for vote with taxpayers in LaGrange, they're going to say yes, annex the heck out of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and most people don't want, like, places that close to the city burning trash and having, burn barrels, and you know what I mean? Like, I used to live in that spot. You know what I mean? When I lived in Dallas, I used to live in that spot, and my neighbors hated it. Like, the ones that were in the city, I'm over there burning my burn barrel. Like, my daughter's out there practicing with her young kid's bow, and they can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but there has to be a line somewhere, right?
There has to be a line and yeah. So anyhow, but what I was getting to say is like, so they completed all of that business that Nicole had been a part of, and then they took a recess and did the exchange of. So they voted on that issue.
Yeah, which they had. I mean, that's
yeah.
probably the proper way to do it. Right?
Yeah. So that's why. But you're right. It was quick. It was like, okay, out with the old, in with the new. Here we go.
Pack your. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
And Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit right here in LeGrand. They have all the cool stuff from Traxxas RC cars to board games and magic cards. Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it. This is going to be a really quick one today. We're pretty slow at home. EOU men's and women's basketball is on the road this weekend, taking on Evergreen State and Northwest up in Washington. So there's no EOU home sports this weekend. LHS boys basketball fell to Riverside on Tuesday night, 65-52. They're having a tough season, man. They're 1-8. I remember there was a time when I was in high school, our varsity wouldn't even play Riverside's varsity. Our JV would. And now we're sitting here losing to the varsity is losing to Riverside's varsity, which is a much smaller school. And I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with COVID. I think the fact that, like all these different sports hardly have any seniors going out for them, especially this year. I think there's like 3 or 4 on the wrestling team. There's 3 on the wrestling team. There were 6 on the football team. There's a couple on the basketball team, and I think that's really affected our sports. Hopefully, like we can bounce back in this next wave of years to come. The boys play Bend tonight at 7:00 in Bend. The LHS girls head to Lewiston for a 6 p.m. tip-off tonight against Lewiston High School, and then the lone sport that's here at home this weekend for LeGrand is boys wrestling. They're at home tomorrow night. Huge duel versus Pendleton. JV action starts at 6 p.m. at the high school. So get up there and check it out, man. This wrestling team, I mean, I don't want to like go out there and like say that this wrestling team is going to win a state championship because, but they are going to finish right around probably where they did last year in my eyes, like right around the 3. I can't see them finishing any worse than 3rd in the state this year, and we should. Now, granted, I said should. We should have at least 3 state champions, I think. If things go, I'm not going to name them because I don't want to jinx them or anything weird, but I think we should have at least 3 individual state champs. The girls, on the other hand, they're going to win state. I'll jinx them. They're going to win state this year. There's no question about it. They're tough. They're deep. They're going to repeat for sure. Like I said, the boys tomorrow night, 6:00 up at the high school JV duel versus Pendleton, followed right after that by the varsity duel. And what's cooler on a Friday night than to go up to the high school and watch them dim the lights up there and crank up Eye of the Tiger, and the wrestlers come out and run around. You know, they used to wear these silver suits, these jumpsuits, you know, zip up, hoodie, that look like Rocky almost, and they'd come out to that song when, you know, in the late '90s, couple state championship teams in that era, and man, it's a blast to watch. So get up there and support the Tigers. AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it.
All right, thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's take a look outside. It was a little chilly this morning.
Yeah, it was chilly last night.
Yeah, there was frost on the windows and stuff, and
yeah, it was like when I looked at the weather last night, it was like 24 or something like that, or 27.
yeah. Let's take a look at that weather graphic there, Benny.
Whew.
Yeah, so 36. It's just right at freezing all day long today, and it looks like that's how it's going to be the next couple of days. It's just like that.
Oh, today's the only day with tomorrow's the only day with a chance of snow or rain. That's good.
So it's just kind of cold.
When's winter coming?
I know it. Have you been paying attention to the fires in California?
Yeah.
Man, it's just crazy.
It's a little bit north of where I'm from.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know a lot of people. I do. Well, I take that back. There's a couple people from LeGrand that live down there that have been affected, but it's crazy. It's once again just like Oregon, like the mismanagement of you know,
Right.
areas leads to disaster, and when they're fuel,
Right.
what's a fire going to do?
Well, and part of that, you know, part of what makes this unique is that, I mean, you've got you've got business. I mean, businesses and hotels and apartment complexes, and once the fire gets going by the fuel,
Yeah, there ain't no
then
stopping.
and they're having 60-mile-an-hour winds, you know, and yeah, I saw a quote from Joe Rogan yesterday, and he was quoting somebody else and says, yeah, with the right wind, everything's going to burn clear to the ocean.
Yeah.
And yeah.
He's right.
Yeah.
I mean, especially that area. That area
Yeah.
is, A, it's super dry.
Yeah.
B, there's a lot of people don't realize that area around LA is not just city too. Like, there's a lot of areas that are hard to get to.
Right, and that's the part that normally is on fire.
Right.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it normally burns from, you got houses that are built in the canyons.
And it's pushing through all the, it's not.
But once the fire gets going, then it's just burning. I mean, they like businesses and
I saw a TikTok this
downtowns.
morning.
I mean, yeah, not downtowns, but you know, commercial areas are just like, and the firefighters are so overwhelmed. They can't even fight those fires.
Right.
I
We've already sent a lot of firefighters from
Yeah.
Oregon.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. What I think the last I checked, it was 0% contained.
Yeah. Well,
It
there's
might
like
have
multiple.
changed overnight.
There's
yeah.
like multiple.
The
fires.
big one.
Right. But they, no, so that's kind of what makes it a little bit.
And it's a weird time of year for fires.
Well, and yeah, and they said that is that this is normally their rainy season, and they've gotten no rain, like a half an inch of rain over the last month or something like that. Anyhow.
Yeah, there's
All right.
a lot. Just the celebrities who have lost homes. There's a whole list of.
Yeah.
You know, Paris Hilton, Billy Crystal. Like and I mean, that's just the celebrities. Imagine. So how many? 100,000? Over 100,000 evacuated right now.
See, that's crazy.
That's a lot of people without a place to stay.
Yeah. All righty. Well, hey, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Dana London from Buffalo Peak Golf Course.
Eastern Oregon is full of interesting people, with interesting minds and interesting things to say. Here at EO Live, we're committed to connecting you to these intriguing people with EO Talks. We let our special guests share their ideas and life experiences with deep, open, engaging, and inquisitive conversations. You'll also be informed in depth on some of the most recent and relevant events, issues, and more. EO Talks on EO Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon, now on Roku.
All right, we're back. Mr. Dana London, Buffalo Peak Golf Course.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm good.
What's up?
Hey,
So, you wake up on time this morning?
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
What
but
time? 4?
You're on old people time. Like your body automatically.
I've
wakes
always
up
been
at-
that way. I've always
yeah.
been, it's the best part of the day, man. The morning.
I could disagree with
I
you.
never,
I could argue that for
got
hours.
there. Yeah, it's like those runners that say, "Yeah, I get to running and the endorphins kick in and I love it." It's like,
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Running on purpose. Let's be reasonable. No, but I love the morning time. So
Well, cool.
coffee, hang out with the dogs.
A little bit of peace, quiet.
Well, what's up at Buffalo Peak?
Lots of stuff, actually. I have just about completed my 5th year.
Yeah.
5?
Yeah.
Holy man.
Well, and you guys won an award, if I read right. Yeah, I mean,
a few awards.
Yeah, Merchandiser of the Year. That's the second time I've won it at Buffalo Peak, which is kind of cool. I mean, when you're talking about competing, they break it down to private, resort, and then public, and included in my chapter with like Wine Valley's
Public.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we compete against Wine Valley, and in a place like Wine Valley, their logo simply sells, and they've got a great logo, and people that are paying $250 a round are going to buy shirts and stuff. For me, it's a little bit harder. So it's merchandising. This right here. Oh.
Other.
Yeah. I know. I'm looking at the camera. I know this right here. This is stuff I actually source locally. So it makes a sweatshirt $30 instead of $60. When you just source stuff locally, you can get it cheaper. And,
yeah.
people, and we change up our logo a lot. So that was cool to win that award this year again. So, yeah, we've got a lot of irons in the fire right now. The irrigation system was a real mess. When I first took the job, you had your list of, before I even walked in the door, the list of, this is what's wrong. Well, the first thing we had to do is get people coming back to Buffalo Peak, and we've accomplished that. We get so much traffic from Boise now, Portland, which is great. Then you got to look at the not the infrastructure, but just the other stuff. The mechanics of operating a golf course and the irrigation system was outdated, and they just took care of what they could take care of with what they had. So we've updated all of our electronics. All the green side sprinklers have been replaced. The green side, any sprinkler, they've got this fluid in them. It's like an oil, but it's like a viscous fluid. So as it gets older, it gets thicker. So we talk about putting turns on the green. How many turns you're going to put on the green? We're going to put 5 turns. Well, each turn is 2.5 minutes. But as those sprinklers get older, and these sprinklers at this time were 20 years old, that 2.5 minutes now takes 4 minutes. So in one sprinkler may take that long. This sprinkler over here may go quicker. Mm-hmm. So you have such an uneven watering. So we've fixed that. Every green side sprinkler is brand new. We can control them right on your phone now. You can control one sprinkler. So we've gotten, pretty modern with the irrigation stuff. So that problem is solved-ish. There's always going to be leaks and heads you got to replace. So that the green sprinklers were a huge thing to get fixed, and the satellites out on the golf course. So those are done. This will be our first year going into this year actually using this system 100%. So it's been tested and it works. So we got that happening. The recognition that Buffalo Peak is getting from outside has been really great. We have the junior tournament. Well, last year they had the OSAA State High School Championship was the following Monday after the junior tournament at Buffalo Peak. So there was literally moms and dads that came from, Roseburg, Grants Pass, taking their kids to Walla Walla to fly them home so they could play in the state tournament. So we lost some players due to that. And again, the same thing, the state high school championship was right after that. So working with the OGA, we've actually moved that event so we can get back up to having the 100 players that we've had before. So, because the kids love the golf course, they absolutely think it's one of their favorite golf courses to come and play. So
It's because there's no trees.
well,
If I was like 17 years old and you showed me that course, I'd be like, yeah.
yeah, but these kids don't worry about trees. They hit it straight and far. But so, doing that not only brings, the advertising to the golf course, because most of the kids are coming from, that side of the state. There's probably 10, maybe 15 kids that are from, like Hermiston and this way, a couple kids from Baker that play at that level. So we got that happening. We also have, the OGA has what they call the Summer Series, which is the Oregon Golf Association Summer Series. They travel around, play different places. They're going to open their Summer Series at Buffalo Peak in April.
Is that new?
Yeah, that's new.
First time ever?
Yeah, first time ever.
What other courses do they play at for that?
Well, this trip it'll be 2 golf courses. It'll be Buffalo Peak and Wine Valley.
Yeah.
So, but they play all over the state. But this is the first time coming this far. I think they've played at Wild Horse. So that'll be cool to have that again. It's one of those things that brings people in, brings money into the the city, the towns. People buying food in the restaurants because they'll stay overnight. So it's all good. Next biggest issue of Buffalo Peak is the cart paths.
I was going to ask about that, but I was going to wait.
Yeah, don't wait. Go ahead and ask. I had to look at what do we do first, and obviously keeping the grass green is the number one thing.
100%.
Finding the problems with that. I mean, we literally found sprinklers that were not even on the map on our we get this giant, yeah.
I mean, I can imagine.
Oh no,
Yeah,
it was bizarre, but it's all fixed, handled. Cart paths, I am working on a 2 or 3 phase program. We're going to go and meet with a couple contractors that do asphalt. Find some different, prioritize our spots. If you play out at Buffalo Peak, driving from the 3rd tee box up to the 3rd green is horrible. Driving from the 4th green up and around there is it's awful.
Yeah.
What they did is they either used cold patch or, they just laid grindings again, and it just doesn't work. So we're actually going to work a program where we relay them right.
Oh, so you are going to actually stay with asphalt?
Yeah, but it's going to be done the right way.
Because I've heard a couple different things. I've heard that there's possibility that they're going to go with like gravel.
Well, yes,
paths.
we're going to get rid of a lot. There's a lot of cart paths that have no business being there. Like the cart path that goes down the left side of number 5. I mean, that whole path's going to come out, and we're just fill it with dirt and let it grow in it as rough. The cart path on the right side of 6. I've watched so many people hit a good golf shot that's got a little bit of a fade to it or turning a little bit to the right. Bounces, and as soon as it catches that path, it picks up speed and it goes in the water. Well, first of all, that's unfair because you didn't hit that bad of a golf shot. But that path doesn't need to be there.
Right.
So that path will eventually get torn out. And we're just going to find the spots where to end the paths. You go up to the first tee, you drive to the ladies' tee box, and the path goes another 30 yards out into the fairway.
There's no point in that.
There's no point in that. Right. So we're going to trim all these up, find the areas where to stop them, and just put some dirt down and some grass seed and water it, and it'll grow. And then the paths. We'll see how far funding can get me.
That was going to be my next
Yeah.
question. Where are we at? Like, what's it going to take to redo?
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I've had several conversations with Corey Gomes, and he's willing to come out and spend some time with me and really kind of divide it up into, okay, this have to be done first.
So this is going to be like a phase project.
It's going to have to be. I mean, it's going to have to be. We've got brand new carts. We've got so many good things happening, but that right now is the number one. Ugh, God, the cart pass, and they're right. But
if you were to hand out a survey to everybody that golfs there, and ask them what their number one thing they don't like about Buffalo Peak is, 90% is coming back with cart paths.
With cart paths, absolutely,
as you know.
absolutely. So that's where my focus is going to be probably over the next couple of years to get those all completed. But it'll be in phases. So,
But a lot of people don't understand that asphalt is complicated and expensive.
it's expensive, especially now
and
with
you
the
can't
petroleum
and,
prices.
and part of the reason cart paths or asphalt does not last is because it doesn't have a good foundation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just if you just go out and you throw asphalt over the top of dirt,
Mm-hmm.
then without that foundation, eventually
Well, sure, it moves.
it moves and it crumbles and so on and so forth. And so is that what you're talking about? To do it right just means that you've got to prepare underneath.
Well, the ground has to be prepared properly. There's actually, with what's there, that's a pretty good foundation.
Okay,
With
good.
what's there. Going over the top of it, do we go 2 inches, 3 inches? I don't know all those answers yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as I kind of figure out where the funding's coming from and how we're going to fund it, and I'll know more. I'll spend more time with Corey and some other people trying to figure that all out.
Yeah, because when you lay fresh asphalt down, it's like, oh, this is so cool. But
it moves.
it moves. Yeah.
I mean, the
And then
ground
when
moves.
it moves, it crumbles.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And they, like I said, they used a lot of regrinds and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure how we're going to accomplish, everything we need to accomplish. But I mean, honestly, we are tenfold better than when I walked through the door.
So
So it's just going to be a process.
so let me ask you a counting question.
Mm-hmm.
So is there, since Buffalo Peak, and I don't know the answer to this, honestly, since Buffalo Peak is owned by the county,
Mm-hmm.
can Public Works and the equipment that they have, are they able to help with some of this
I
stuff?
can't answer that because I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. It would be great if they could, but I think Buffalo Peak is kind of set up a little bit different. It kind of stands alone.
Right.
So we would actually have to hire them.
Got it. Okay.
Is how I would guess.
Right.
I don't know the answer to
Because,
that.
for instance, like LeGrand, City
Mm-hmm.
of LeGrand Parks Department, okay, there are times that they work in conjunction with LeGrand Public Works
Right.
to do stuff. I mean, I think that like the path that was kind of extended in Riverside Park
Right.
recently was kind of that was kind of a
of them.
joint project. Yeah.
So I'm not sure of that.
Yeah.
As I get closer into kind of figuring out all the ins and outs of this project, that's something I have on my list to actually check into. The problem is, they can probably get it to Buffalo Peak, but can we get it up there and get it laid? With what they have, I don't know that they have a machine.
Do they have special machines?
Yeah, there are machines that can go from 4 feet out to 6, and then obviously for
interesting. Okay, yeah.
roadways there's different machines, but
Yeah.
So there's that, that getting it there, getting it out on the golf course, there's a lot to it without making a huge mess.
Right.
So,
Well, good.
and then let's see what else, Dodzy. We got the Doug Trice tournament
Coming in. Are we going to do it April, right?
May.
May? First week.
First weekend in May.
First week in May.
So we didn't have it last year. It just
No. Things got kind of
things
crazy.
got crazy and got out of hand. So it's on the calendar. It's going to happen, and then that's one of my favorite events because it helps kids going to school. So
Thankfully, we were in a good enough position that we could not have the golf course or the golf tournament and still give out the scholarships. So nobody missed the scholarship. We just didn't have the golf tournament. We will this year though.
Right, and then I've created, or I'm working on creative a group organization. I'm not really sure what to call it yet, but it's called Friends of Buffalo Peak, a volunteer organization. Come on out and help us. Weeding flower beds, whatever it might be, little projects that we can use some help with. And eventually maybe rolling that Friends of Buffalo Peak into a not-for-profit, so, they can be funded through, maybe a golf tournament and help us with some funding, some grants and stuff that are more readily available to organizations like that. Most of the grants that I would apply for are matching grants. So if I want 10,000, I got to have 10,000.
Right.
Some of the grants that would be available to them, and then they can donate to Buffalo Peak. So it's kind of just in the very, very early starting phases of that. We're probably going to have a Friends of Buffalo Peak golf tournament in October.
In October, that's a strange time.
Well, honestly, I got no room.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just.
Well, and if it was like this October, you'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, we've got no room. I've got so many events, and they're all big events. I mean, they're 100+ players. The firefighters is huge. It's just things are growing out there. So we had food trucks out there this year.
Yeah,
which was
new, right?
It was awesome, man. It was great to have that. I mean, I get sandwiches from City Market, but it's just a sandwich. But the food trucks did pretty well. They liked it. I've got a really nice spot for them where they can sit out, and I've got the covered area down below that we've put up, and it works out great. So.
What about 4th of July? Let's talk about 4th of July a little bit coming up. When does that committee start meeting? It's got to be soon.
It's got to be soon. Yeah,
I'm going to come back on that committee because I want to be a voice of some things that I think need to change and that need to happen. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that we could do out there that really would take it to the next level. We've had lots of conversations about what can happen at Buffalo
That's
Peak.
my goal, is I want to take everything to the next level.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Isn't that what life is?
If it's good, that's great. But let's make it great. If you make it great, can you make it awesome? That's kind of my how I roll. I think that and that's been a great addition, is moving it out there. I think I never went to it when it was at the stock show grounds. I went to it when it was at EOU, and I still think we get more people out at Buffalo Peak than even when they had it at EOU.
I never really paid attention when it was at EOU.
Yeah. The one thing I do know is that it's great for Union.
Yeah.
It is.
And Union has been able to capitalize on that and make that a whole day.
Yeah. They do. They got vendors that come.
Yeah.
They're still trying to figure out their timing a little bit, because
Right.
it's a little bit weird. If your vendors are there till 5 and then you don't wait, and then you got till 10 o'clock to have so they're still trying to kind of figure that out a little bit.
Who's in charge of it?
The main downtown Main Street, the
No,
vendors.
who's in charge of the committee that we're going to put together for 4th of July? You?
You are.
No, I'm not. I'm not in that thing.
When you missed the last meeting, we voted you in charge.
That's the way the meetings are.
I mean, my thoughts on it. I think we need to push more stuff further up the hill. There needs to be more things going on up there. We got to get things a little more centralized. I can't. It's really hard to picture in my head rolling into Union, and there's a cornhole tournament
at the church
4 blocks down past the golf course.
But that tournament does really well. I mean, I'm shocked at. I mean, they had like 20 teams.
Yeah,
which is great. So,
but it didn't. But if you aren't playing in that tournament, nobody knew.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like no. But if it would have been like closer to where everybody was congregating,
right,
then people would know. It would even grow more.
It might
you know what I
grow
mean?
more. Yeah.
And just like the whole live music thing, there's no reason why we can't figure out a way to get some jams out there.
Well, I think that's the next level, is getting a couple of food trucks to come up to Buffalo Peak,
up the hill,
so that when they have that Pepsi thing, and that they run that right up until the fireworks stop, and then they start, and then they shut that down. But if we could have a couple food trucks come up there and then have some live music right on the driving range tee box, I mean, we can make anything happen.
And that Pepsi thing, was that just all for VIPs, or could you buy stuff?
You could buy stuff.
Oh, you could.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We tried the real VIP thing a couple years ago. We had food.
Where the 4-H kids cooked for us and all that. It wasn't horrible.
It wasn't horrible. The problem was controlling. Because the VIPs, alcohol. Controlling the people that would leave with 4 beers, and I'd see them walking out into the middle of the driving range to sit with their friends, and they got beer out there, and that's not. We really don't want that. So that kind of went away this year. Nobody really missed it.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll play devil's advocate here. the people that really want to drink are gonna just sneak it in and keep it under wraps anyways. So whatever, you know. But the thing is like the whole when you talk about controlling, it's more about like making sure people don't get out of hand. And as long as people don't get out of hand, nobody will ever say anything if you're that person.
And the search and rescue does a great job with that. They really do. I think there was 5 of them out there this year, riding around on ATVs and making sure people weren't lighting off fireworks in the middle of crowds. What are you doing?
This is the first year I've seen a rattlesnake on 4th of July.
Yeah, was there one up there?
Year. Yeah, right. I mean, he was big enough that he went all the way across the cart path.
Oh, if they're that long, that was a bull snake.
No, that was a rattlesnake.
Yeah, that was a bull snake.
No, that was a bull snakes don't make the rattle noise. I'm pretty sure it was a dang rattlesnake, and I mean, I would have a person that can confirm it too. That was in the golf cart with me, not Benny either.
Oh. Well, there's not very many out there. Last year, I think we had 3 that we saw. So,
That's not bad.
No, you know, and it is what it is.
Yeah, it's not.
It's their territory.
Yeah,
Their territory, and it's actually the thing about the rattlesnakes that are here. I forget what kind they're called, but they're fairly docile and they're not going to just chase you.
No,
you know? They're when
aren't they Western Diamondbacks?
No, it's I forget what it's called, but anyway,
Pacific Timber Rattler.
Yeah, something like that.
That's
and
what it is.
And they're fairly docile. They're going to let you know they're there, and they're going to either move along their way, unless they feel like you're invading their territory. Then they're going to coil up, and you probably should move. So there. That's
remember those little envelopes where you could roll up the little thing with the rubber band and you give it to somebody. And it's like. Those were called like a rattlesnake or something, weren't they?
No, you'd put it in an envelope and you'd write rattlesnake eggs on it.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what it
And
was.
then people would open that up and
there
it
was a paper clip spinning in there.
Yeah, it'd freak them out. Yeah,
We used to have such cooler stuff like pranks as kids. Like we
yeah.
don't have cool pranks like that anymore.
We're standing out in the yard throwing a yard jar straight in the air, and last one,
where'd that go?
last one to move loses. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying the smartest of things. But,
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so that's kind of Buffalo Peaks. Right now, I hate this time of the year.
Yeah, I would imagine it's
Well, I kind of go through the golf shop, and I got some projects that I'm doing. I'll repaint a bunch of stuff this time of the year and move stuff around. So when people come back in the spring, they're like, "Hey, it's different." So
Have you been able to fix the path to the front of the thing yet?
oh, where the big tree limbs stick,
No, I don't know. I mean that was the thing that it was like the actual.
There's a tree root that has grown under there. That'll get taken care of in there. Yeah.
That's
When you
good because
redo the path.
I mean having no asphalt there at all would be better.
Would be better than that. Yes. Yeah. So.
Well, and again, I mean, friends of Buffalo Peak, that's a great idea because some stuff like that, I mean, a group of guys could take that out in a Saturday.
I thought you already had that.
Well, they have the Buffalo Peak Golf Committee, which is an oversight, I guess, committee for the, and it's where people can bring their concerns and or whatnot. And that's actually a county setup deal.
Yeah.
So, and we meet. I think we meet twice a year, might be 3. And that's a good committee. They've always got some good feedback and positive comments. Sometimes, a couple of years ago when the golf course turned brown, it was pretty negative. But when you can't get the water out there,
it's kind of hard to keep it.
It was impossible. The golf course was hard and fast, man. You could almost drive it as far as I could then.
See, and I can't. How many acres is the golf course? Approximately
87, I think.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good sized chunk of land. The thing is, it's such an amazing golf course. I mean, there's very few like it.
It's definitely unique.
The inland link style golf course where it's great. It's very, very well done. I think I joke and I say, the city of Union built this great golf course by accident. Because it really is a great layout.
Yeah.
It's in a good spot.
It's in a
And
good
what is inland link? What does that mean?
It's the holes follow each other. The front 9 goes all the way around a horseshoe.
Oh, I see.
So the links golf the holes follow. You go out and you come in. But when they do inland links, it's obviously different. But holes 1 through 9 kind of trail, and then the back 9 plays within that.
Oh, I see.
So,
Okay.
but no trees, bunkers, lots of bunkers. So
The only bad thing about Buffalo Peak not having trees is trees cut down on wind.
yeah, but then you got to pick up the leaves, and that adds.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they're not evergreens.
Yeah, yeah, but there'll never be trees out there under my watch.
No.
I've actually,
it would ruin the nostalgia of Buffalo.
I've actually had some conversations with the architect, and we've done some things out there, and I'll get an email from him, man, thanks for not planting trees. No, if I could, the only tree is the 1 on 8,
Yeah,
and
that one single tree.
and it's kind of a neat tree where it's got these braces holding it up. I don't even know what kind of tree it is, but
it's a tree.
Yeah. So we do have a contingency kind of plan. What do we do if that tree falls over and dies? But it's pretty healthy. But it's just a weird looking tree. But yeah, that's and I hit that tree all the time. I used to hit it far enough to get it over that tree. Not quite anymore.
It's called getting old.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Well, anything else new going on, or that you need to update us about?
No, I think that's pretty good. I mean, our tournament calendar is pretty
Already
much
full.
Already full and pretty much done. Oh yeah, we're having a pro-am this year too.
Oh, yeah, I think you told me about that.
We haven't. I don't think they've ever had a pro-am out there. I argued with them. I said, "Come on." Well, it's too far to drive. I said, "I drive to Wenatchee to play in the tournament." So yeah, we're going to actually have a pro-am this year. We'll see how it goes.
So when you say pro-am, you mean like the other PGA, not tour pros?
No.
Card holding.
Yeah, but the other PGA golf pros within our
district or area.
Our chapter, they can bring a team and,
Is it 2-person teams or 4?
4.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
golf
So
pros
1 pro
and 3
amateurs.
Yeah, and there'll be 100 players that come for that.
Wow.
And we're going to run a little special game on the Sunday before it. So what I'm trying to do is encourage them to come the Sunday before, play a practice round, and stay in town.
So for your team, are you going to make people qualify? Like, are you going to take the top 3 out of
No.
No. Or are you just going to hand pick them?
I don't really know
decided
yet.
yet?
I don't know how many teams I can have.
Oh, yeah.
I could probably
as the host.
As the host. So
But who else has a tour card? Who else has a PGA card? Does Sean have his yet?
not yet.
So who would be the pro?
Oh,
If
and
you
the
had
other group,
another
they
team.
would play by themselves.
Oh,
so,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to have a pro on the team.
Well, you do. I would be their pro. You just
Yeah.
can't come and play. You'd have to have somebody, a golf pro come and play. Stuart, you can bring a team.
Oh yeah, Stuart. I was
Yeah.
okay. there
So
we go.
anyway, that'll be cool to have. Again, it's a for me looking at those types of things. It's just getting people there to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's good. So
Good. So
Yeah,
you
good.
find that once people see the course and they play it, then it's like
They
it
come
sells
back.
itself.
well, the Boise Golf Show. Talk about that. I went last year for the first time. We did the video and all this stuff. And our booth was right across from the hitting area, so it was in a great spot. And people were like, "Where is this place?" It's in Union, Oregon. Where's Union, Oregon?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, do you ever go play Wild Horse? Oh yeah, we go over there 2 or 3 times a year. So you drove right by us. Really? We didn't even know it was there. So we actually sold some discounted rounds of golf, 2 for, I think it was like 2 for $80 or something like that, and sold a bunch of those. And the people started coming, and now they just come and play because first of all, it's not an expensive round of golf.
No.
And Boise right now is so underbuilt with golf courses. So when golf courses open their tee times a week in advance, if you're not on there at 7 o'clock in the morning trying to get your Saturday tee time,
You ain't getting in.
yeah, you're playing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Huh. Wow.
There's just, and one of the public golf courses is actually going private, so that's going to eliminate more. So, got a bunch of money, go build a golf course over in Boise. But yeah, so we're getting those people. People coming from Portland, yeah. It's been good. I'm excited for this year.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And thank you for being a regular sponsor
Yep.
of EO Alive, and we appreciate
We definitely like to keep it local. That's
Yeah.
my thing. So
Well, thank you, man.
we appreciate you guys.
Yeah. You want to get us out of here?
Let's do it on this day. Today's January 9th. 1493, Christopher Columbus mistakes manatees for mermaids, describing them as not half as beautiful as they are painted. That's funny. 1959 on this day, the TV Western Rawhide with Clint Eastwood premieres on CBS. 1991, baseball officially bans Pete Rose from being elected to the Hall of Fame for betting on baseball. What a travesty.
And he died
Yep,
recently,
he's
right?
dead.
Yep.
Yep, he never got to see himself in the Hall of Fame, and I don't even want to get into that. 2024 on this day, so today, or no, not today. Today's 2025.
Right.
So 1 year ago today, 2023 was confirmed as the world's warmest year on record. Warmer than the long-term average as well. So, yeah, 2023 was the warmest year on record in the world ever. And I think it's just going to get warmer every year.
Yeah.
I think the number one movie in America on this day in 1995, Dumb and Dumber. That's such a good movie. You need to tell me I got a chance. Quote of the day comes from Paul Newman. The best gift you can give yourself is the gift of possibility. One more time. The best gift you can give yourself is the gift of possibility.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thank you again, Dana, for coming in and
You're welcome.
giving us an
Anytime.
update. And yeah, proud of Buffalo Peak. Proud to represent Buffalo Peak, and appreciate you sponsoring the sports show and everything.
Yeah, appreciate that. So, hey, you guys. So, starting next Tuesday, we are going to start a series, a two-episode series with Justin Montgomery from EOU, and he is a local expert on artificial intelligence. And I've seen his presentation. Anyhow, he'll be with us next Tuesday, talking about that. And jump in. That's going to be. It's interesting. So. Hey, thanks, Dana, for being here.
Appreciate
we really
you guys.
appreciate it.
See you on Tuesday.
All right. See you soon.